All right, welcome to the Edge 100 Challenge. Today we're going to talk about how do we do more in 100 days than the average man does in a year. But the reality is there's only two things that a man with the edge has. And there's two things we're able to talk in this video to help you go to the next level. So let's begin. Right, so two things that I've seen a man has in order for him to continue to improve, to continue to grow, to continue to challenge himself. The two things are consistency and persistence. See, that's what separates you from 99% of men out there. If you have consistency, if you're persistent, you're going to win in life. But here's the reality. Most men quit because they confuse being busy with productivity. They're constantly thinking that just because they're busy in their schedules, just because they're busy with life, they're being productive. But that's how you get burned out. See, you go 100 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden your results are not giving you what you want. The results that you have in your life are not a reflection of your standards. See, because most men don't know how to recalibrate. Because in order for you to win in life, in order for you to sharpen your edge, you have to learn how to recalibrate. It's not just about doing. It's not just about being busy. It's about how do you adapt, adjust, and execute. So today we're going to talk about how do we recalibrate? How do we use this half time? Because right now we're going through our halfway through a 100-day challenge. If you're following this video series, we talk about how to do more in 100 days than the average man does in a year. And part of it is being intentional. But halfway through this challenge, you're going to have to recalibrate. So here's how I recalibrate. Number one is I audit. I look back on what's working and what needs to improve. So ask yourself right now, what actions am I producing right now that are giving me the results that I want? That's one thing that you have to ask yourself. What's working right now? What are the actions that I'm doing? What are some of the things that are giving me the results that I have right now? The second question is, where am I building traction and momentum? See, this question allows you to look back and see how are you building momentum in your life? How are you actually getting what you want? Again, it's not about just being busy. It's about being consistent. It's about looking at what are the results that you have right now. And this third question is, what am I forcing? What am I forcing into my life, but I'm not getting a return? Like, what's some of the things that I'm doing right now that I'm forcing things to happen, but I'm not getting what I want? See, the moment they start realizing that sometimes we are forcing things to happen, once we are attached to an outcome, but then all the effort that we put in are not giving us the results that we want. So that's something that's not working. What's working? What's not working? And the last question is, what are you tolerating in your life? Are you tolerating a lower standard? I realize that right now maybe you're lowering your standard just to fit in. What are some of the things that are working in your life and some of the things that you need to improve? See, the moment that you start asking yourself these questions, you're actually going to be more productive. You start looking at your life 100 days at a time and looking to see what can I improve. See, I believe that most men are not clear about the improvement. Most men are not clear about the progress that they're making, so they constantly beat themselves up because they feel that they're not enough. You're not doing enough. You're not producing enough. You're not getting the exact results. And because you have this mentality of like chasing, and grinding, you don't step back and recalibrate. See, part of having an audit is giving you the opportunity for you to see what's working, what's not working, and how can I continue to sharpen my edge. The second thing that I do in order for me to recalibrate is ask myself, what do I need to eliminate? What do I need to delegate? And where do I need to double down? See, this is where most entrepreneurs fail to eliminate the things in their lives that are giving them the results that they want. They fail to delegate because they want to have control, and they fail to double down on things that are working. I see this constantly. Entrepreneurs that are constantly grinding, they try to do everything for everyone, and they end up being burned out. So ask yourself, what do I need to eliminate? Eliminate low ROI tasks. Anything that right now is not giving you a high return, you have to eliminate. Energy leaks. Man, people who drain you energy, activities that drain your energy. What are the energy leaks right now that you have in your life that you need to eliminate? And the most important, what are the habits that right now are sabotaging your business, sabotaging your marriage, sabotaging your health? See, sometimes when we're going 100 miles an hour, we think it's okay for us just to slow down and create bad habits that don't serve us. Drinking, watching TV, just constantly being busy, scrolling on social media. What are some of the habits that are sabotaging your life? Because see, the moment that you start being present at the things that are sabotaging your life, then you're going to realize that it's all a choice. You choose what to eliminate. You choose what you let into your mind, what you let into your phone, what you let into your life. But if you're not clear what do you need to eliminate, you're always going to be a victim of your circumstances. The second is delegate. You need to delegate maybe repetitive tasks using AI, using technology. Work with someone who could do not maybe your job, but 80% as well as you could do it. See, part of delegating is letting go of control. Sometimes we want to do things perfect, and the reason that we don't delegate is because nobody could do it as good as we could do it. That's the curse of the entrepreneur. That's the curse of the man who wants to control everything. See, if you don't know how to delegate, you're never going to be able to scale your business. If you suck at delegating, you're always going to have a high-paying job. You won't have a business. You have a high-paying job. The last one is, what do you need to double down on? Double down on creating revenue activities, double down on high-level connections, high-level relationships, and double down on taking care of you. Because I believe that every single one of you is one relationship away from scaling your business, from thinking bigger. One connection away, one customer away, one conversation away from actually realizing that, man, you are playing small. That's what I believe in the power of proximity. We just came back from Mar-a-Lago doing an event there, and every single conversation I had was a high-level conversation. How are you getting yourself into rooms that would allow you to have those type of conversations? Next week, I'm taking some of the guys here from the Inner Circle members, from the Edge Brotherhood. We're going to see Alex Hormozi. Why? Because we believe in proximity's power. See, we're doubling down in ourselves. The moment that you bet on you, the moment you double down on yourself, you are going to grow. So where do you need to double down? The moment that you optimize yourself, everything falls into place. But this is when you come in. Optimizing yourself is a choice. Doubling down in yourself is a choice. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's going to do it for you. Your job is to be consistent in eliminating the things that don't serve you, in delegating the things that are taking your energy, and doubling down on you. Because the moment that you double down on you, the moment I realize every single day it's up to me, I'm the problem, but I'm also the solution, then that's going to be able to grow and expand. That's going to be able to do more in 100 days than most men do in a year. See, right now we have a Zoom call right now. Have all these men watching this because they're doubling down on themselves. They're being part of a community. They understand that proximity is power. They're not just talking about it. They're choosing to show up. The same way with you. How are you going to show up? As you continue in this challenge, as you continue to build your business, as you continue to build your marriage, you have to start calibrating and asking yourself, where do I need to spend most of my time? What do I need to eliminate? What do I need to delegate? I will not get tired enough to tell my clients, you have to eliminate things that don't serve you. You have to delegate the things that you try to control, and you have to double down on you. I just had a conversation with my Inner Circle member this morning. This past 12 months, we worked on helping him just focus on himself. He has a big business in the technology company. He has a huge opportunity. But until he started taking care of himself, until he doubled down on himself, he couldn't attract the opportunities. He couldn't attract the customers. Why? Because he was always operating from the fear-based mentality. The scarcity mentality, the fear-based mentality, that I don't have enough, that I'm not enough. And today, he attracted 2 big accounts that are going to make him millions of dollars. All we've done the last 12 months is help him see who he is by eliminating the things that don't serve him, by delegating the things that he's trying to control, and by constantly doubling down on himself. That's the key. As you continue to grow and expand, your job is to have self-awareness of what's working, what do you need to improve, what do you need to delegate, eliminate, and double down. And now, Measure consistency. See, that's the key. In order for you to measure consistency, what percentage of your actions did you execute? How are you going to be consistent? See, consistency is not just about doing. It's just measuring the progress. What are some of the things that you say you were going to do, but you actually follow through? So when you start looking at measure the percentage of your outcomes that you achieve, you start realizing, man, every single day I have an opportunity for me to see what am I doing? Am I seeing the results in my life? And what's the percentage right now of your outcomes that are off track? What's not working? See, you have to measure your progress. You have to have a system and a process in order for you to see what's working and what's not working. Because, see, we believe in integration. There is no such thing as balance. If you want to get things done, you have to stop thinking about a balanced life. As an entrepreneur, there is no balance. You have to only understand that as an entrepreneur, we have to create integration. The moment that you integrate your business, your bonds, your relationships, your being, your connection, we got everything into one, then you have an opportunity to win this game. Men who get burned out is because they don't understand that there is no balance. The moment that you integrate everything into your life, then you can measure it. See, we have an app that we use, the Edge 100 app, and these are my stats for the past 30 days. 95% execution. The one area that I need to improve is to make sure that I'm working out because I'm measuring my workouts. I'm actually having some days that I'm not working out intentionally because I need to make sure that I rest. But every single day, I'm measuring my activities through the app, through the system that we use. You have to know what are you doing that are you getting yourself to the next level. Because what you don't measure doesn't get done. I see in that measurement, if you're under 70% execution, you have a problem with discipline. If you're not executing, it's because you're not disciplined enough. But let's talk about this for a minute. If you lack discipline, it's not that you don't know what to do. It's that the why is not big enough. That's what I see. We are disciplined. Every single man that's in this call is disciplined. Every single person that's watching me, if you're watching YouTube, you're disciplined. You constantly discipline in something that doesn't serve you. The why is not big enough. If you lack discipline, because the pain that you have is not big enough. Because I bet you right now, when the doctor says, man, you only have a certain amount of time to live unless you work out the gym, you will get your ass to the gym. If right now your business is in trouble, you will get your ass into execution. You have to find, discipline happens when you face your pain. Discipline happens when the pain and the why is big enough that you actually will not take no for an answer. But I see if your execution is over 80%, and the results are not there, then you have a strategy problem. Your problem is not execution, your problem is strategy. This is where we measure. This is why it's key for you to understand that the moment that you start measuring your activity, then you start looking at, do I have a problem with my discipline? Do I have a problem with my mindset? Or do I have a problem with strategy? Because most men, the problem they have is they don't have the mindset to execute a strategy. So we work backwards. We want to get the strategy first, but we don't have the right mindset to execute the strategy. And that's what happens. And most men that I work with right now, they think they have the right mindset until they realize that they have scarcity mindset, they have a fear-based mindset, they have a comparison mindset, and they're constantly sabotaging their progress. But the moment that you have the right mindset, the moment that you realize that, man, I am worthy of more, there's no difference between me and the guy who's winning. That the moment that I put myself in an opportunity for me to win, then you're going to figure out the strategy. The strategy is easy when you have the right mindset. Attracting the right people into your life is easy when you have the right energy. Knowing that you're going to figure things out gives you certainty. See, certainty doesn't come from knowing everything. Certainty doesn't come from having everything figured out. Certainty comes from you knowing that you're going to figure shit out no matter what happens in your life. And you as an entrepreneur, you have to have the belief system, that mindset, that certainty that you're going to figure things out. See, this is where we have to make sure that we sharpen our edge. This is the moment that you start realizing that there is a version of you that is playing small. There's a version of you right now that's operating based on fear. And your job is to kill that version of you little by little. Kill the monster when it's little so the king can rise. But that's not going to happen unless you have self-awareness. That's not going to happen unless you start measuring What are you working on? What's working? What's not working? Am I being consistent? Am I being persistent? Do I have a mindset problem? Do I have an execution problem? Do I have a strategy problem? How can I adapt and adjust and calibrate? It's not just about being busy. It's not just about doing. I know right now the hustle culture has been sold to us that every single day you have to be running. But see, if you're 40 years old, if you're 50 years old right now, we have a different strategy. You could do more with your pinky than you used to do with your whole body in your 20s. You have to make sure that you strategize and you ask yourself, what is the challenge that I have? So the fourth thing to calibrate is identify the one thing. What's the one thing? What's the one action that you could take in the daily basis that will create the biggest impact? See, and that changed the game for me to understand that I could only control what I can control. I can't control the market. I can't control my clients. I can't control my wife. I can't control my kids. The only one I can control is Raul. I can't control the algorithm, but I could pick one thing that I could do for my body, one thing that I could do for my being, one thing that I could do for my business, one thing that I could do for my bonds, for my relationships, in order for me to know that I'm being consistent. Because consistency requires focus. Consistency requires you to be able to look after one thing and get it done. Stop making excuses. Stop thinking that it's going to happen tomorrow. Stop thinking that, man, like I don't have enough. You're more than enough. You have more than enough right now available in your fingertips to choose the one thing. What's the one thing right now? And don't leave this video without choosing that one thing. Right now, as we go through this halfway through this challenge, choose the one thing. What's the one thing right now that you could say, if I could do this the next 50 days, it's going to dramatically change my life. Maybe right now, the one thing is you have to start meditating. Maybe right now your head is so busy, you can't quiet the voice in your head, the voice of the imposter, the voice of the negative thinking, the voices that constantly sabotaging your life. Maybe the one thing is that you need to start praying more, believing, having a different belief system. Maybe the one thing is that you need to get your ass into the fucking gym. Maybe right now you need to get your ass into the gym, get strong, build that testosterone, push some muscle, and pick up some weights. Maybe the one thing right now is maybe you have to connect with your kids, connect with your wife. Maybe right now you've just been busy and just don't have a connection with your wife anymore. Maybe the one thing is just realizing that, and you have to get into the game in your business. Maybe you've been cruising. Maybe you made some money. Maybe right now you're just bored. Maybe right now you're just stale. Maybe that passion is not there. Maybe that purpose is not there. What's the one thing you could pick in every single area? Because as we continue in this challenge, the only way it's going to work is to get clear about doing what we call the base hits. These are base hits. These are not home runs. I want you to start looking at what can you do today. You could start doing on a daily basis. Base hits, little things that you could be consistent on. Little things that you could actually start showing love and appreciation to your kids. Little things that you could start moving that needle in your business. Little things you could start moving the needle into your health. This is not rocket science. If you want to build consistency, you have to build focus. The problem is that we're so addicted to home runs. We're so addicted to just doing big things. And the moment that we don't have the results that we want, we beat ourselves down, and then we stop trying the little things that will get you to the big things. But the moment that you start realizing that every single day is an opportunity for you to build momentum. The one thing strategy builds momentum, gives you that dopamine hit in your brain that tells you that you're winning. So choose every single day just to do one thing. One thing in every single area of your life, and that's how you're going to be able to improve. The last one is anticipate resistance. See, this is my favorite one because this is where most men will stop doing the work because they have resistance. They think, oh, God is punishing me, Raul, or it wasn't meant to be, or this is not going to work. No, resistance is good. There's nothing wrong with resistance. See, if you don't anticipate friction, if you don't anticipate the resistance, you're going to mistake that for failure. And that's what's happening right now. Most men think that they're failing, but the reality is they're not failing. Life is just giving you exactly what you need to grow and expand. You're asking God for more. Well, God says you're not ready for more. You need to continue to get stronger before I give you more. You're asking God for blessings, but you're not ready for the blessings until He puts away all the things that don't serve you anymore. Resistance is good. Enemy attacks just exposes what you need to work on. See, what can you anticipate? Anticipate doubt, anticipate fear, anticipate distractions, anticipate criticism. All these things you have to anticipate because there's nothing wrong with resistance. Resistance just means that growth is happening. You're growing. You're growing in your life. You're growing in your business. You're growing in your marriage. And because you're growing, the enemy doesn't want to see you grow. The enemy doesn't want to see you connect with your wife and your kids. The enemy doesn't want to see you abundant. The enemy doesn't want to see you healthy. So the moment that there is some resistance in your life, just appreciate the fact that God is giving you exactly what you need to get stronger. Your job is to continue to see what are some of the things that I can anticipate so I can become better. Because the question is not about if obstacles are going to show up. The question is not about challenges that are going to happen in your life. The question is not when is the next shoe going to drop. The question is how are you going to show up when there's an obstacle, when there's resistance, when there's a challenge. How are you going to adapt, adjust, and execute? Because most men give up the moment that they feel the resistance, the moment that they feel that they're being challenged. Energy is contagious. The moment they realize that the life that you want, the business that you want, the relationship you want is outside of the version that you're in right now. Why? Because if you were ready for everything that you wanted, you will have it already. If you were ready for the business, for the marriage, for the connection, for the impact, you already have it already. The reason that you don't have what you want is because you haven't grown into it yet. But you have to step into it. You have to claim it. You have to become it. You have to believe it. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt that that's who you are. The problem is that as entrepreneurs, as leaders, we constantly get caught up of who we were. We're living in the past version of ourselves. We're living in the past failures. We're living in the past mistakes. And we beat ourselves down on a daily basis and we feel like we're failing. And the reality is that every single day that we step into the arena, every single day that we step into this journey, we have the opportunity to show up. And that energy is contagious. That energy of having the mindset of winning, having the mindset of being challenged, having the mindset of not being afraid, allows entrepreneurs to grow and expand. The fastest way that you're going to grow, the fastest way your business is going to grow, the fastest way your marriage is going to grow is to get around men who will not see you as who you are, but will help you see as who you could be. So as you continue in this journey, the question to ask is, who am I surrounding myself with? Who do I have in my corner? Who do I have that could actually call me out in my shit? Do I have a community of people that will help me see the blind spots? See, and there is no perfect community. I'm not telling you that my community is perfect. We have a lot of challenges, and we challenge each other. But here's one thing I'll tell you. Our community cares about every single member. And that's what makes a difference. We're not focused on a transaction. This is not a transactional community. You're not coming into this community to pick up business. You're not coming into this community to sell your things. You're not coming into this community just to do business. You're coming into this community because you want to be elevated by a higher standard. You want to grow. You want to expand. You want to see what your blind spots are. That's what we value. I don't care how much money you make. There's millionaires, there's billionaires, but there's one real currency. How real can you be? How real can you be? So I want to invite you to join us April 23rd and 24th in Greenwich, Connecticut. We're going to be around a community of men that will see you as who you are becoming. That's the beautiful thing about this is because we're going to talk about what's the trends that are happening. So the trends that are happening right now is AI. The trends that are happening is how do I exit my business? There's going to be so much opportunity right now with so much uncertainty that's going on right now in the world. Like I said, we were just in Mar-a-Lago last week. I talked to politicians. I talked to entrepreneurs. I talked to nobody knows what's going to happen next. But there's one thing that every person understands. Opportunity is everywhere. Whether the market crashes or the market keeps going up, it doesn't matter. Where are the opportunities? The biggest opportunities right now that we have is how do we use technology? How do we bridge the gap between AI, between the community, between being an in-person, between being virtual? See, all these things, we're going to have these conversations at the Leadership Summit so you could not be left behind, so you could be part of the growth. Because I know that back when the social media game started, man, I was resisting it. I know like some of you right now you were resisting social media. You were resisting YouTube, resisting all these things. Now you're seeing there's a wave. Same thing with AI. Don't resist AI. Talk about how are we using AI in our company? How can we use AI in order for you to create a better marketing system, to be able to create a better product? Because unless you anticipate what's going to happen, you're going to be left behind. I said the most beautiful thing about the Agile Leadership Summit is that you're not going to hear from people who are just paid speakers. You're going to hear from executioners. You're going to hear from men in the arena, men in the grind, men in the battlefield. Because nobody is in that stage unless they've done something, unless they've proven that the system works. So as you continue in this journey, my intention for you is to build persistence and build consistency. Because those are the two things that will separate you from 99% of men out there. Your job every single day just to pick one thing. One thing. What can I do? Measure every single day. Use the app. Go to the edge100app.com. Make sure you download the app. Measure every single day. How can I become more consistent? And how can I improve? What's working? What needs to improve? What do I need to eliminate? What do I need to delegate? And what do I need to double down? Double down on you. Because it's up to you to grow your business. It's up to you to grow your marriage. It's up to you to lead. But if you're not ready for the storm that's coming, if you're not ready for what's going to happen this year, you're going to get left behind. So I encourage you, get around a community that cares. Get around a community that will challenge you. Get around a community that sees you for who you're becoming, not just who you are right now. Because I believe that the best is yet to come. So now we're going to go to our Zoom meetings. If you want to be part of the Zoom, make sure you opt into our newsletter. We'll send you an invitation. But now, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next week. Learn it, live it, experience it. Love life.